Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Today's first story is a masterclass in petty patience and perfectly timed comebacks. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Karen meltdown goes nuclear, slaps two men, kicks a cop, and tries to sue the floor. This didn't happen to me, but I saw the events unfold, and Jesus, holy Christ. It started innocently enough. A regular guy, jeans, t-shirt, sneakers, was casually shopping, holding one of those handheld baskets, minding his own business in the health and beauty aisle. He looked completely unremarkable in the best way possible. Totally chill. The only thing notable was that he absolutely did not look like an employee. This store had a pretty clear uniform, black slacks, black vest with the store's logo stitched in bright green and a name tag. This guy, not even close. He wasn't even wearing the same color palette. Enter Karen. Karen, in full chaotic glory, storms over like she owns the building, practically foaming at the mouth. Her face was red, her breathing erratic. She looked like someone had just cut her off in traffic and told her Starbucks stopped making pumpkin spice. She grabs this poor guy by the arm and spins him around with a grip that could qualify as assault. She starts screaming something about perfume, which was hard to make out because she was speaking a mile a minute and quite literally spitting in his face. Like you could see flecks flying through the air. I don't know what she thought he did, but he just blinked at her like, "Lady, I'm trying to buy shampoo." He calmly tries to explain, "I don't work here." But of course, Karen's immune to logic and reason. She doubles down, screaming louder about how he's refusing to help her because she's a woman, how rude he is, and how she's going to have him fired. Everyone within 10 feet stops and stares. The guy remains impressively composed and says, "If you touch me again, I'll defend myself, and you won't like it." Well, that just eggs her on. She slaps him, not a full-on smack, but a sharp, open-handed shove to the shoulder, like she thinks she's in a courtroom drama and he just confessed to murder. He doesn't retaliate, which shocked the hell out of me. Honestly, I was halfway expecting him to knock her halfway into the next aisle, but he took a deep breath and stepped back, clearly trying to keep his cool. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Oh no. This is where the chaos dials up to Karen-level infinity. About 3 minutes later, she comes back, dragging some poor guy in a business suit behind her. She's gripping his wrist like a prison warden and screaming about how she wants this man fired immediately. Apparently, she told him that the first guy refused to serve her, called her a whore, and threatened her. The guy in the suit, blinking rapidly, says, "Ma'am, let go of my arm. I'm not a manager. I don't even work here." Before he can finish the sentence, Karen slaps him hard, loud enough that everyone in the aisle flinches. By now, store staff and a few bystanders have already called the police because this whole thing has gone nuclear. A police officer arrives trying to make sense of the shouting, crying, and sheer unfiltered lunacy erupting in aisle 7. Karen immediately shifts gears and starts screaming that both men tried to sexually assault her. That's right, she went full fake assault accusation on 2 random shoppers in front of dozens of witnesses. I could actually see the moment the cop's brain short-circuited. An actual manager shows up, probably wondering why half the store's watching a showdown in the shampoo aisle, and tells the officer they can check the security footage. At this point, Karen's sweating, yelling that the manager, the cop, and both men are in on a rape conspiracy, and then drops several homophobic slurs, claiming they're all gay and out to get her, because apparently, in her warped mind, that made sense. And just when you think the circus can't get any more unhinged, she kicks a cop in the shin and tries to run. Well, run is generous. She did this awkward fast waddle down the aisle, knocking over a display of razors, huffing and puffing like she was chasing a moving taco truck. The officer didn't even have to try. He calmly walked up behind her, grabbed her by the arm, and tackled her to the floor like it was Tuesday afternoon training at the academy. She was cuffed right there between the deodorant and the hair gel. Absolutely surreal. The cop read her rights while she shrieked that she was going to sue everyone in this store, including the floor, for tripping her. I kid you not. And that's where my part in the saga ended. I don't know what charges she faced, but she was taken out screaming into the back of the patrol car, still yelling about being victimized by the gays and the government. So yeah, there are Karens, and then there are freak show tier Karens who truly believe the world is their customer service desk. It blows my mind that someone can be that unhinged, entitled, and delusional all before lunch. Moral of the story? Not everyone in the store. Moral of the story? Not everyone in a store works there, and touching strangers is a fast track to jail. Especially when you pick the wrong aisle to lose your damn mind. Like, you could have been a brain surgeon or a pirate, and she still would have wanted to speak to your manager. And then having the gall to say, "Where do you work so I can tell your boss you're making them look bad?" Ma'am, you don't even know what team this man plays for. And our second story. She lectured me on phone etiquette, then ranted for 5 minutes on the wrong line. So this happened a good 7-8 years ago. I used to work on a help desk. We had a recent switch, a major software to a new one. They didn't want to train us on that system, so they paid for a third-party geek to deal with those calls. When you called, it was phone tree that basically said to press 1 for the new software or press 2 for any other issues. If you pressed 2 and had issues for line 1, we had to transfer you. We had no training access, and the contract stipulated it as well. So no way to help you in any way. Things are different now, but that was the deal at that point. So this user calls us. I get her information, and she proceeds to immediately tell me that she's having an issue with this system. I try to interrupt her, polite, and she cuts me off and proceeds to yell into the phone, "How dare you? You do not interrupt me. That's rude. You will let me finish." I said nothing and let her talk. She proceeds to talk for a full 5 minutes, I timed here, giving me the full rundown of her issues in excruciating detail. She finally finished. I let there be a pause where she goes, "Hello?" both to annoy her a bit and make sure she's actually done. I put on my AAA+++ customer service voice and ask if she is done, as I didn't want to interrupt her again. I then explained sweetly and politely, "I'm sorry, I was trying not to waste your time earlier when I tried to interrupt. This is the wrong line for this system, and I was trying to get you to the correct line so they can help you. I need to transfer you." Just oozing all the, "I was just trying to help you, I could." There was no sound coming from the phone, but I could feel the red-hot rage and embarrassment coming through the phone as I transferred her to the correct line. I've almost never had a bad interaction with customer service because I treat people with respect. "Hey, I have a problem, and I hope that you can help me." That's literally all it takes. Customer service will bend over backwards for you if you're just polite. And our last story. HOA member tried to funnel $1 million to his son's company. A few years back, I lived in a high-rise condo in downtown Chicago, one of those fancy buildings with a doorman, a gym in the basement, and a rooftop patio. The building was managed by an HOA, mostly made up of older, well-off residents who seemed to treat their HOA board seats like a second career. They were retired, wealthy, and very much used to getting their way. I was new to the building and figured I'd sit in on a meeting to learn more about how the place was run. What I walked into felt less like a residential meeting and more like a scene from House of Cards, HOA edition. That particular day, the big discussion was about the newly renovated outdoor patio. It had recently undergone a makeover, with beautiful new cobblestone bricks laid out for residents to enjoy cookouts, lounge around, and socialize. The project was already completed, and honestly, it looked great. No one I knew had any complaints. But apparently the color of the bricks, a deep brick red, was too offensive for the board standards. One member, an older gentleman with a Rolex that could pay off student loans, raised his hand and solemnly declared, "It just doesn't feel harmonious with the skyline." Another chimed in with, "It clashes with the aesthetic of the building." Instead of laughing them out of the room, the rest of the board agreed. They actually passed a motion to redo the patio. Again. Their solution? Allocate $1 million to replace the red cobblestones with ones in a more acceptable beige-gray blend. I sat there in stunned silence. $1 million to change the color of bricks that were already brand new? Some of us younger residents immediately raised concerns. We suggested using that money for far more important things, upgrading the aging elevators that broke down at least once a month, improving energy efficiency in the units, or even just building a rainy day fund for emergencies. But we were outnumbered and outvoted. The older board members dismissed our concerns as short-sighted and uninformed. We wouldn't let it go, though. Something about the whole thing felt off. One of my neighbors, a guy about my age who worked in construction management, started asking questions. He looked into the bids for the repaving project and quickly found out that the same company that had installed the original red bricks had been selected for the new job. And the kicker? That company was owned by one of the board members' sons, and that board member had been the loudest advocate for the repaving project. Not only that, but the invoice showed the job was being billed at almost twice the normal rate. We dug deeper. The original paving job was already marked up, but the new contract made it worse. There was a clear conflict of interest and more than a few signs of bid rigging. Armed with this information, we brought it to the building's management company and requested a formal review. Once word got out, all hell broke loose. The management company launched an investigation, and the local news even got wind of it. Suddenly, the HOA board members who had lorded over everyone for years were scrambling. A few resigned quietly before the investigation concluded, and others were voted out by a furious group of residents who realized their money had been lining someone else's pockets. While no one ended up in jail, probably due to their age, clean records, and some strategic apologizing, the authorities did issue warnings and slapped a few civil penalties. The most important result was that the $1 million repaving never happened. The board went through a much-needed reshuffle, and with new leadership in place, things got better. Meetings were less theatrical, and actual improvements started happening. Elevator repairs, hallway upgrades, etc. A few of us who had helped uncover the mess were even asked to join the new board. I politely declined. I'd had enough HOA drama for a lifetime. Looking back, that experience was eye-opening. It showed how quickly power can be abused, even in something as seemingly small as a condo building. But it also proved that with enough persistence and a few residents willing to ask tough questions, even the most untouchable HOA dinosaurs can be taken down. I'm torn between wanting to scream into a pillow and slow clapping your whole crew for the way you handled it. Because this wasn't just petty HOA tyranny. This was straight-up self-dealing. And the fact that the Suns company was double-dipping like it's an all-you-can-eat grift buffet, that's the kind of red flag that makes you want to start flipping tables. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.